playing another familiar foe, Josh Sokol Rubenstein. I think I've only played it once on YouTube, and it was a weird game where he like had a blank almost the entire time, and I knew it, and I couldn't do anything about it. Anyway, we'll see if this one is less weird. Out of this rack, I think you play WOG or you exchange. This is actually funny. The very first YouTube game I ever did, I think my opening rack was this exact thing, except the G was a D. Circular, whatever you want to call it. So I can play WOG for 14. If I exchanged, I'd probably throw back the U and maybe the I. Looking at it like holding IU with the ES, I don't think devalues this by 14 points, and that's about what's going on here, plus or minus a little bit of defensiveness for giving him 3 tiles, but taking away the star. I think I'm just going to grab a couple extra points here, and maybe this rack will blow up, but hopefully it doesn't. That's not too bad. Okay. If I pulled another I or another U, I might have been in some trouble, but I did not, so that's cool. Oho is going to be very defensive for my next play, but I'm pretty sure Josh will make a play and make that unlikely to happen. Not too much to do with this rack. I mean, you can play house, you can play Oho and keep the exact same lead we kept the turn before. You can exchange maybe. I'm going to assume that we're not going to play any TWL3 words, any of the new stuff, just the TWL2 words. If Josh puts something down, I'll go ahead and start playing with that dictionary as well, but I'll assume this is TWL2. Oh, very cool. He plays Guiduk. That'll make this turn a little bit different. I now have choose for 30 points, but I hold the disgusting IU. House is 24, holds IO instead. Is a little bit worse defensively, I think, because it gives this up, but it doesn't give him an S to bingo with. So maybe it's not too much worse. I think those are basically going to be the only 2 options this turn, house or choose. And I'll have to choose one. I'm so funny. I mean, my inclination says to grab the points. Yes, IU is disgusting. But 6 points is a lot of points. If I really want to hold the S for some reason, I can also play Hoodie. But that's going to let Josh score cheap down here. The S is pretty powerful with this and this available and not much else. But Josh is going to stack here. I probably don't have the stuff to stack back underneath. I don't know, 12 points is just not enough to do that. I think I'm going to grab the points here again and play choose. And look at that, I get bailed out with an incredible draw. I have diluents for 86. I think that's all I have. Unless Josh gives me new tiles to hit 8s with. And that is going to get blocked most of the time. So I'll probably actually have a pretty tough decision to make when I'm not able to bingo. Looking at plays down from the H right here. Hunt is something. Yeah, that's pretty much all I see. Wonder what the hooks to choose are. Maybe I should have thought of that before I played it. I'm gonna guess no R, no D, and no Y. So probably just the S. And I might or might be wrong. So he plays chooser, which I just guessed wasn't a word. Hits 36 points for it, but I've got a big double-double, and I just don't think I can lose a turn challenging right now. My challenge record against Josh is also abysmal. Maybe that shouldn't factor in, maybe it should. I don't really know how he studies words. When I have this many points on the table, I just don't think it's right to challenge that often. So I just won't. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me. Another cool rack here. I tons of points out of it. Bravo is a pretty good play. Hove is available, but that's not nearly as good. I'm not sure. Didn't like setting up this Q or X bomb spot there, but you know, I've got to take the points. I've got to take the double-double. So that's fine. And it wasn't a X bomb here for almost twice the score. It was just 31. That's fine. I really just don't see much but Bravo to do here. I guess I could play Brave if I really want to keep that O, but I don't. Yeah, I just don't see anything except Hove down here. Harm if I really want to play Harm. Above is another rack, or word that could be played out of this rack if I want to keep a MR instead and score 4 fewer points, but I don't. The B is going to be a little tougher for him to make a high-scoring play here, but the R is going to make it easier for here than the B and above. Yep, I just don't see a reason to do anything else. I will play Bravo. I've got some plays up here. Firmi comes to mind. Firmed is probably good. But I sincerely doubt that spot will still be there. So I'm going to look elsewhere. Got Hind. It's 24. Not bad. I'm just trying to avoid looking for any plays that go up here, and when Josh makes his decision, I'll start thinking about that. I hate finding these plays, being all excited that I have them, and then not actually getting them. It's kind of disappointing because you fixate on, oh, I could have had 58 and now I've only got 21, and it just leads to bad mindsets. Fix goes here. It's not bad. It's 34. Wow, that's more than I thought it was going to be. Cool. Holds pretty well. Yeah, and like we predicted, Josh took this spot, but he's left it for some potential overlaps. It's probably going to have to be RNE or RME. Minx is a play here for 28, but I just really don't like what that does for the board. Josh wrecks me here a lot. If he has an O, maybe he can wreck me down. If he has a Y, that's awful. I'm not seeing a spot here. The fix is just really solid over here. I don't especially think I want to play Hind or any other word here. I don't just want to dump the X here with XI. I'd rather get rid of that F also for about the same score. Again, a pretty straightforward play, I think. Fix is what it is. Entombed with an O. But I don't have one of those. Berm is going to go up here. That's actually very nice. If it stays open for 38. Dang. That's a lot. And it is going to stay open. Unless there's a bingo, I think there's almost no reason not to make that play. It's going to have to be the best thing I have. And I think I've just got entombed. I can't bingo through a T, not with this rack, so I'm going to rush into Berm also. A lot of very straightforward turns this rack. Wog and Choose were a little bit tough, but I feel like a lot of this is just boom, 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 boom. And sometimes these are the kinds of games where you make mistakes just because you're autopiloting and you don't even think about thinking about a rack, but I feel like all of these have been Obvious, do this, obvious, do this. That's how Scrabble works sometimes. I'm coasting on a pretty big lead right now thanks to my lucky pull on Diluent. Again, how often do you bingo into IU? I do, because I'm me. One thing about me in Scrabble is I'm totally happy to be that guy who got lucky to beat you. Like, if I bag you by 180, okay, I'll apologize, but there's so many players who it feels like every time I beat them, it's just because I get very lucky, and I'm totally happy to just be that guy who gets very lucky against you. I'm happy to be that guy who always has the exact right thing exactly when I need it. Because if that's how you feel when you play me, it puts me at a psychological advantage, and that's fine. Anything I can do to gain a psychological or otherwise any other kind of advantage, like cool. Um, One of my big frustrations with Scrabble is I know so many players who feel like they pretty much never make mistakes, and when they lose games, they're just unlucky. And it's like I'm very skeptical of that, but I don't get to watch all of their games. Then they come up with some generic stat to complain about. Sometimes it's blank, sometimes it's all of the power tiles, sometimes it's ease, sometimes it's first turn bingos. There's always something for somebody to whine about. And then they use that to explain why they're not doing well and ignore every other metric of luck. They just find the one that looks bad for them. Anyway, that's my rant. That's over. Print scores 9, but I'm pretty much not scoring points. This board has been real shut down real fast. Not a humongous fan of this marginal bingo line here, having to end in like an E or an A, but I can't really do anything about it. Can't do that. I just don't think I can hit a play here. AIT is awful. If I do want to block, I can play print. If I don't want to block, plan is much higher on the equity list. With all these vowels unseen, let's look. This looks like actually a decent percentage of the way. No, just a little bit over half of what it should be. So just slightly vowel heavy at this point. Not too afraid to keep DINT in that case. Don't really want to double up these eyes, but that's okay. With Josh opening and both blanks unseen, it's a little bit... I'm a little bit nervous about this, but I think print is just giving so much up, and I think I should just keep taking the equity points here. I'll play plan. Sometimes this backfires on me, but... Well, okay, I want to think about this a little harder. If I play plan and he bingos, we're very close in the game, and I've got a slightly better than average rack. If I play print, it's going to be real tough for him to bingo. Not much starts with this T, so more often he's just going to play through the T. A bingo to this L is very devastating for me, but that's also pretty rare. And a bingo here I don't care about. Not very many points, and I get a big counter here or here a lot of the time. So print is looking more and more solid by the second. Print or plan. DLN is a leave. DINT is a leave. This is obviously more balanced for bingos, but in terms of scoring points next turn, aside from bingos, they're pretty much the same. This backfires if I draw a bunch of consonants. This board is not friendly to have a bunch of consonants, as we've learned from this turn. I mean, I have a bunch of consonants, and this turn sucks. There might be some sort of play right through here, but I think plan is going to trump all of those anyway, unless I really want to close the board. Pelon is one, or however you say that word. It keeps the same as plan, but it stops anything from or through this T a little bit better than plan does. But that's just silly, I think. Take your extra 5 points. Leave the T a little bit open. Worst thing that can happen is Josh does catch up. I mean, a bingo here will mostly catch him up. Oh! I didn't notice that I could put a P underneath M. Oh, that's big. Nap suddenly becomes an awesome play. Oh, that would have been a humongous miss. Like I was saying earlier, autopiloting through a game, suddenly, boom. I don't see any sort like apt is also a play I could make, but I really want to undouble these ends right now. I'm gonna play nap, grab all the extra points, and this will put me up by almost 100. So even if Josh does bingo here, I'm generally okay. And I pull 2 vowels, which is awesome. Very happy to see that. I've got Tulladin on this rack. No spot for it, but that's fine. If Josh tries to throw things open, I might hit it. Otherwise, I've still got a pretty decent rack. A play through this R would still be pretty nice. Toroid is, oh, I don't have two, I thought I had 2 O's for toroid. I don't. Yuck, I'm not actually seeing very many good plays through this R. I don't see like anything. Dirt, that's awful. I'd like to play off about 5 tiles out of this rack, keep one of my vowels, not the O, and one of the consonants. I don't like keeping things like LINO, because I just feel like they end up with racks of all 1-pointers very often. So I'd like to get rid of a little more than that, if I can. Intro is terrible. I think nitrile is no, nitrile is not a word, I don't think. It's just nostril. Nitril, I think, is a word. Or if Josh does bingo like to this R, if he strings an E out, I'll hit Taladine back. I'm fine. I don't know. I guess my turn is really going to be waiting for Josh to play. There he goes right as I start talking, of course. He makes a kind of dinky fishing play. I think he makes this play sometimes even if he's not like sitting on a blank or something, just because there's almost nowhere to score on this board. The fact that he didn't choose EYE makes me think a little bit harder. Maybe he's got another R. Maybe he's sitting on consonants. Maybe he just wants to leave the R a little more open and passed up on the points to do it. Whatever, I'm happy to see the T partially obstructed. That's good news for me. I really want to address this R and this whole area of the board now. Try and block as many bingos from the L and the R, or through the R, as possible. So I can, something as ridiculous as like, I hate that. I'd like to get a longer word if I do play through the L. Again, I want to play off 4 or 5 tiles on this turn, almost for sure. And then just block whatever I can. Yikes. I just can't find good blocking words. A play like Droit, I mean, I don't think we're playing with DA. If we are, it becomes a little bit worse. But it does the job I want it to do. It blocks. It gets rid of more tiles than I'd like, or as many tiles as I'd like. A play like Nitrid or Nitril. That's going to let Josh play here, score a bunch, and open the board. And that's not really something I want. I'd rather start the word here and have the R in the 3rd slot. Like the same deal with dinitro. Plus, it opens up bingo lines, and that's just counterintuitive, or that's not what I want to do here. I could play Torii. That keeps vowel or consonant consonant consonant. And that's pretty much all I see. Lirot, I'm pretty sure is good, but if it is, it's probably my play, but I'm just not certain enough that it is good. Um, ugh, I wish I knew. I wish I knew because that would make this turn a lot easier. Trial gives up some big plays here, still gives up the L. I think I'm just going to play Torii. It's more defensive, and, sometimes I draw a bad rack. The last thing I want right now is to have a bunch of constants and not be able to address Josh's next opening, but I think I've just got to do it because I can't remember if Lirot is a word. So I'll do it. Do pick up 2 vowels, that's pretty big. I'm in a decent position again. If we were playing TWL3, I could play Lion here, and that kind of addresses this like INGS line. Basically, I'm slowly blocking lanes in order of how dangerous I feel they are. And I address the most important spot. Then this or this are next. This is not too bad because plays here give me bingos back. This is pretty volatile. It can hit me extremely hard if he hits something like Telestic from the T. He plunks an S, so I do think Josh is getting pretty close to a bingo now. Of course, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Josh is just doing something random right now because he's Josh. After the game with the bingo sitting on the bingo all game. I am is not a word. I can't play Mildin. I can't play Linden. It'd be great if I could hit a 6 here, though. I am slowly running out of time here, too. That's another thing I want to bear in mind. That's not a word. Lent is a word, but that's bad. I can't play something like denim because that just sets up a huge S spot. So I guess I can't block everything I want to block right now. Which sucks. I can't really block anything except I can go down here, score almost nothing. But Josh is scoring almost nothing this entire time too, so I don't care that much. Since I don't know if we can play TE, I can't look at plays here. In the interest of time, I think I'm just going to play Lent. Keep that D because I feel like it's a little better than an L right now. I can make words with the D here. I can't with the L. Josh is going to score a bunch of points, and like I didn't want to happen, he's just catching up to this game, scoring points, not even having to bingo. Oh, yuck, 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 yuck. Don't rush, but I need to rush. I never get in time trouble in tournaments, but for some reason I do in these videos a decent amount of the time. I've just got like no plays that don't open the board. I wonder how. I guess Josh didn't have any blanks. He would think for longer if he did have a blank there, I think. So if I exchange a whole bunch right now, my chances of drawing one are decent. Not muds. I would play muns. Keep rind. ING is decent, but not without an S. 9 points. It's almost worth just exchanging and trying as hard as I can and as aggressively as I can to draw a blank. I want to hold that R. I think I'll hold R in I think I'll just hold the R because I really want to turn over as many as I can, but the R is going to stabilize a little bit. I will do that. I won't pull a blank, but that's okay, I guess. I don't know if I would have made that move in a tournament, but I'm just kind of not doing well on my time here, and I want to do something better with it. Josh has blocked this spot, so I'm happy about that. He's also scored 19 points and is almost caught up, so I'm not happy about that. GHEE, looks like a decent play, but I've got 2 of the last 3 E's, so these E's are pretty dang powerful right now. That seems fine. Yeah, I like this play. 17 points, keep my vowels. We're looking more and more and more consonant heavy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 out of 25 now after I pull a bunch of vowels. So yeah, that's all right. I think I might just play eggs here next turn. Oh, eggs. 8 points, not very many, but just keeping kind of on the vowel side, keeping the H to score with, cleaning up some of the junk. Not opening the board, I think, is the most important thing. I wonder how long Josh plans on just leaving things shut off. Or maybe he's trying a miracle bingo ending in an A here. I don't know. Oh, that's not what I wanted to see at all. Josh has now just taken the lead with both of the blanks unseen. But I think the game plan should just be to keep running with this. In the interest of time, I'm going to throw down egg now and just try and save some of the time. I've got all the nice looking vowels. This is looking more and more and more junky each time I make a play. So I'd say advantage is slightly me, even though he's got the lead and it's his turn, just because this J is going to be pretty gross. I've got the A for za. They're just a lot of junky consonants, and this is not a good board to have junky consonants on. I'm also kind of low on time. I'm not that low anymore. I've got 4 minutes with just a couple turns to go. But I can't spend a lot of time dawdling like I have been. I really wish I knew if we were playing with TE or not, because home is a bunch of points. I don't think I'd play it this turn, but it'd be nice to know if I can count on hitting a 6 here. Without with only I's and O's and U's left, Josh is probably not hitting a play here. And if I keep my E's, I am. But I will, again, assume that we are not playing with those words. Oh, that's not a word. Mid is going to take the front I as well. Hide. The C would go in front, but there's no C's unseen. If he wants to burn a blank to make it a C, I guess Jukos would be really devastating, but he's going to have exactly Jous blank to make that play. It's an option. It's something that scores a little bit, and I guess if I want to do the same thing, I can play he. I feel like my play is probably going to be a 2-tile play this turn. Keep vowel, consonant blank, and just sit in a decent position, score some points. And if we are getting into the end game, I think we're getting into, I'll be okay. I think. These are the kinds of tiles I want to be keeping, getting into an end game like this. IDIM is another play for 12, but that just doesn't seem to accomplish as much. I think I'd rather keep the M than the H here, just because the H doesn't look strong at all on this board. The M is a little more conducive, I think, to hitting words here. In fact, if I just play the H and I pick up, I don't know if we're having TE, so I don't know what I should be thinking right now. Josh probably had junk and played it all off. I'm going to go ahead and dump P, save some of my time, draw diamide, or diamine, or amidine. No spots for any of those, and I really don't think Josh is opening anything at this point in the game. But cool. This time is going to become pretty important because I don't know. I will need to think about this end game for sure. I didn't think about. Oh, that's why I didn't think about that. If I play something like male, and I guess I could have thought about this last turn, it's going to make life pretty difficult for Josh. I'm holding this last E for email. He can maybe make a play here, making Uda, or he can burn his blank to hit email. Worst case scenario, I think, for me is something like Jute, but that'll only score 26 and force his blank off and his highest scoring tile, his J. Instead, he's just going to get rid of the J right now, and that's probably a good decision by him because there's nowhere else for it to go. Male looks fairly good right now. I can force that blank off of him. But if he hits the blank and hits even like 20 points here, I guess I've got a slight lead. He's emptied the bag. I can probably go out before him. Yeah, I like this play. We'll see what he's able to do. I've pulled Uridine. So if Josh doesn't address this spot right now, the game is over. I really hope Mail doesn't take a front S. And I just like lost myself the game playing this, thinking I was being smart. I've never seen that word before, but it seems like the kind of random thing that I would have never have seen. Looking for other plays. Should Josh knock out this spot? I also drew the U, so Josh will have to get rid of the blank or make a one tile play right here, or maybe like TIFFED, but it's gonna be tough for Josh to do much without burning his blank. He can play LID right now and set up Slid, which is kind of devious on its own. Yeah, assuming he has the S. Maybe that's been his plan for the past few turns. Is sit on the L, sit on the S, sit on his blank, and open exactly when he needs to, but maybe not. Ugh. Yeah, Lid would actually be pretty bad for me right now. He would have to draw a bingo, and it doesn't look too likely with this pool, but I also can't do almost anything. I think Dune is the only thing I can really do in response, and that still leaves anything ending in the S. I think if he does that, it'll come down to does Josh hit a bingo ending in the S? If he does, he wins. Otherwise, I'm going to win after Dune. I guess I can also think about... Okay, he plays Trod instead. If I play Uridine for 74, I don't know what he would do. I mean, he'd have to have a bingo ending in an S or in E, or ending in an N or an NE or in. There's just not too much that's gonna go there. Uridine has to be the correct thing for me to do right now. I have to fight off this lid setup, so I'm gonna do it. Leptins is there. I think I've won the game now though, with my mail to email setup. Even if he bingos out, I don't think he's gonna score enough a lot of the time. Wouldn't be the most surprising thing if he challenges Uridine just because it's the only thing he can do to win the game. I might actually be stuck with this F if Josh is able to block all of this, because I have FIR and FIN. I think that might be it. Well, that's no good. Yeah, play like LOP here. And I think I'm stuck. I may not even have a spot to put this I, to be honest. I don't know if Josh is going to be able to catch me. I have 10 points on my rack, so he's going to have to score like 70 something points, 75 points. with uh, with his tiles. Lop is gonna get him 23, and then he'll have to get a bunch of points, almost 50 points with 4 tiles, including a blank. So I think I'm okay. Instead, he plays knee top, letting me play FER, so I'll be okay. Maybe I'm missing an F spot, or a spot to go out, rather, but I don't see it. I'll just play FER, let Josh do whatever he wants to do with his last 2 tiles, and eke this game out. Oof. I did not like the time trouble there. That was kind of unnerving, not unnerving, nerve-wracking is what I'm looking for. And I did have to out-bingo Josh 2-0 this game and still just kind of squeaked it out. I may be eye-stuck right now, actually. In fact, I think I am. Cool. Yeah, decent game, though. I was really happy with this mail setup, the way it ended up working out. It did leave me vulnerable to lid, and I would have loved to have more time to think about this, because I love boards that look like this, where there's not much of anything happening for either player. Just didn't have the time to analyze like I wanted to, but I think I did a decent job with what time I had. Maybe not. I mean, I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. Maybe you guys think I was more on this game. Maybe I oversaw something very pivotal. I think Josh has identified that I am indeed eye stuck, and yeah, I'm pretty sure I can't put it anywhere. So I'll pass, and we'll see what he wants to do with that S. Five points there. I don't think he's doing much. He can try and put an S on Lent, but I don't think it takes it. Oh, snap. There he goes. All right. 11 points for Josh. He'll end up at 364, so a 50-point win for me. Ha! Nice play, Josh. I'm not going to let you have that. Not for YouTube. So I can't pass again. ISC will end the game now, so I'm just going to set my eye down and let Josh challenge that and give me a... The game won't end if he does that, but it would have ended if I passed. Josh, you gotta stop it. Alright, well, in a real game, the game would have ended now, so it's fair to pass and end the game. Josh got a little greedy trying to put the tile down, I guess. I don't know. That's the game. Something about 50 points with the little shenanigans at the end. Thanks for watching, everybody. Would love to hear your feedback. Adios.